Welcome to Herschy and the Keegs Show, starring pitcher Marc Hirschman and his personal catcher, Mike Keegan. Every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. live from the Governor's Comedy Club radio studio. Thanks so much for listening.
A show about nothing. Two morons are talking. They both are really funny. They just go with the flow. It's the Hershey and Keegs Show.
All right, guys, it is Tuesday, 9 p.m. You know what that means. It's the Hershey and Keegs Show. We're here. We're happy to be here. It's been a week. We can't wait to hang out with you guys for an hour. Got a great show tonight. I am Mike Keegan here with Marc Hirschman, my partner.
That's me. I'm his partner in life and on the show.
Exactly, my personal pitcher.
Yes.
And as always, our best friend, Sally. Hello, Sally.
Sally.
Hey, guys. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Sally.
Excellent.
We unfortunately have to start the show with some shitty news, but it's important news. And, the truth is we've only been doing this show for a few months now, but we are family. And in comedy, you tend to become very close with the people that you work with, that you hang out with. And it's really no different than this show. Mike and I have become very fond of Sally and Tony as well. We don't deal with Tony as much. That's her husband, who is
he never comes here.
Yeah, we don't see him a lot, but he
hates you guys so much.
I know.
Tony's the manager of Govs. But the bottom line is this: we are a family here, and we found out a couple days ago some pretty shitty news that Silly Sally's sister Cindy had passed away over the weekend. So certainly Mike and I, we talked about this, and we definitely felt like we really wanted to start the show not on a somber note, but we felt that it was important to acknowledge someone who we found out over the past few months was very close to Sally and her family, and Cindy had lived with Sally for the past 4 years. We did hear some stories over the past few months about her, so Mike and I certainly did understand the dynamic a little bit, and we were definitely rocked a little bit when we heard the news. And Sally, I just wanted to, there's a couple of things before I kind of just get a little feedback from you. And we did talk with Sally about this beforehand to make sure that she was comfortable with us discussing it. But over the past couple of weeks, I actually had noticed a couple of references that you had made on Facebook about Sally and
Cindy.
About Cindy. Yeah, excuse me. You are Sally. With really no expectation, I think, that this was coming when it did. And one of them was on Tony's birthday, which was, I guess, May 5th. Is that right?
April 28th.
Oh, but so right. So
That's
May
right.
5th,
Maybe
almost
we
the same
posted it
thing. He did post it. That's exactly right. On May 5th, Tony posted a picture of a card that Cindy had given him on his birthday, April 28th, so not even a month ago. And the card, I took note, and I even texted or commented to Tony because I thought it was so significant. It said, Tony, now this is obviously her brother-in-law that she's talking about. Tony, you are the best thing that has ever happened to this family. And I thought that was the sweetest thing, and I thought it was so significant. And you don't normally see that kind of sweetness in an in-law, sister-in-law, brother-in-law relationship. So I found that very sweet. And I also found something that she wrote to you that you had posted as a Mother's Day card, which this is going on not even a week or a couple of weeks ago, right?
Right.
She had said to Sally, "You were not my mother. You are not my mother. But if I were to have a daughter, I would pick you." She said that to her sister, and I thought that was really significant. Again, to just kind of wrap up what kind of relationship Tony, Sally, their kids had, and Mike and I could not be more sorry. And we do love you. We appreciate that you decided to do the show tonight. I know that is probably a lot for you, but I know you wanted to. So if you just want to say a word or two, about your sister Cindy, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, she like you said, she lived with us for about 4 years. She moved up here from Georgia, and about a couple of years in, she found out that she had lung cancer, and she's 14 years older than I am. So, and she, it was difficult, but for the next couple of years, she tried to fight it, but it wasn't going all that well. So, I think I thought she'd have a couple of more months, and she was even saying that. She's like, I think I have another couple of months, and then and all last week was fine, and even Carla even talked to her on the phone.
That's what I was gonna say. I know because I know Carla had been speaking to her because Cindy deals with animal rescue. And we just have a new dog, and we're new dog parents, and we just needed some information.
Looking to put it up for adoption already.
Can somebody rescue this fucking dog from around?
Call Sally's sister. She gets rid of these things.
You want another one?
but she was so sweet with Carla, gave her some helpful information, and and like I said, Marc did most of the talking, but I am truly sorry also.
Yeah, thanks.
Because we are family. I've been to your home. I've known you for a very long time, and. I am sorry. So,
can you just tell her, because I found it so sweet what you had written about her, about sitting in the yard, and she's been doing a lot of sitting in the yard and the birds, and you mentioned something called the tin whistle. She liked to play the tin whistle, which I know was something that Mike and his friends played on the couch when they were kids. But I know that the tin whistle
different.
What your sister did was different. Can you? I didn't really know the tin
girls
whistle.
Don't know that tin whistle expression.
Yeah. So what is a tin whistle? What was she doing back there?
You know the music of the Titanic.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the tin whistle.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it's like a kind of a different pitch flute.
Okay.
And so she just started really, and she was really cute. I mean, she was almost 7 years old, and she would sit in the backyard and she'd play this like little tin whistle, and she'd like YouTube how to take lessons, and then during COVID, people on YouTube were doing lessons for free, and she just had a great time with it. She was just fun. She was just a fun person. Yeah. My kids are just having a really hard time with it. Like my youngest is just having such a hard time missing her because
4 years is a long time to live with anybody.
Yeah,
especially when it's your aunt. And then, how old is your youngest?
18.
Okay, so figure 14-year-old kid now had his formative years with someone.
Right.
That's a shit sandwich. So
the last week, was awful because we just didn't expect it to go downhill so fast. But she was before she went into dog rescue, she was a respiratory therapist, so she completely knew what was happening. Like, it was very cool to go to doctors' offices with her, and they would kind of talk to her like she was just a patient, and then I would butt in and I go, she's a respiratory therapist, and they go, oh, okay. And then they just give her all the news,
Yeah. So you mentioned that she was doing okay, and it was a medication that they had been treating her with, and that seemed to be
this one medication that they gave her, I think 7% of patients get pneumonitis, and which is like a fatal lung thing. Like your lungs they're just never the same. Like the bottom of both lungs just are sticky and won't ever be better. And she's like, I'm the lucky one. She's like, wow. I'm the lotto winner in this one. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Well, like we said, we certainly, could not be more sorry. You are part of our family, and again, we appreciate that you decided to do the show with us tonight. And so we will honor this show tonight in honor of Cindy, the tin whistle player, and hopefully she's watching us and enjoying the show. Did she ever really watch the show at all?
I don't know. So, I mean, she used to watch like probably the first year that she moved in with me. She watched a lot of the shows. Like she loves Will Sharon. Okay. Like he used to have a show here, and she's like he's so funny. So there was certain.
Unfortunately, Cindy only watched the first show where I told my love seat story with my friend. Right, and then she's like, I'm not listening to that goddamn show again.
It's interesting that episode. People have mentioned it to me, and I think we definitely have some lifers from that, and we definitely have some people who will be like, oh yeah, I watched the show, and then they're telling their friends how much they detest it.
What are your families like as comedians? Like when you go home after saying something like that, Mike, does your mother just beat the crap out of you. Like,
You know,
like how's it go?
when I started doing comedy, I wanted to be super filthy. Like I was a big Jim Norton fan, Andrew Dice Clay. So I wanted to be super filthy. So like, I knew my mom was gonna come see me. So I conditioned her for like weeks leading up to it. I'm like, none of this stuff is true. I don't do any of this stuff. It's just to make people laugh. Even though pretty much 98%.
I mean,
of it is
the truth is,
I'm a deplorable human being.
The specificity that we told the couch story in, or was like you can't go back on that. You could be the greatest storyteller ever, but it was just so detailed.
Yeah, you can't make something like that up. I have another story. Maybe I'll tell it after our guest today.
Yeah,
I have another pretty good one when I was a kid.
That's if we have a guest. Our track record.
I know now you're gonna be scared and nervous about every.
You know what's so funny though? I think it goes.
That person broke you.
I think it goes along with the fact that I think that Mike and I talked about it, and we're cool with whatever happens.
Whatever happens, because
and the truth is, we've both gotten messages, comments, texts from people who just like hearing us, the dynamic that we have with each other, the dynamic that we have with you. So
I saw one or two this week that just said, "Oh, when is it going to be just you guys again?" So, we're gonna mix it up.
So we're just figuring it out, and we're gonna have there's someone that Tracy Carnazzo, who's a successful podcaster who I'd spoken with yesterday, and she had some really good tough love for me, and she was like, "Listen, this is what you guys are not doing correctly," and it's hard to hear at first, but then the truth is, someone like Tracy or Anthony DiDomenico, they just want to help us, and they know more than we do when it comes to podcasting. Mm-hmm. They've been doing this. They're both comics for a long time. They're both podcasters and successful ones. Yeah. So the truth is, we're just figuring it out. But we're having fun and we're
nothing if not open to criticism.
Yeah. Are you seeing anything over there from?
Yep.
Okay. Very good. So we're gonna go on with Marc Malusis. Hopefully he hops on here.
Yep. We have a special guest tonight. Is Marc Malusis.
There he is. Look at that handsome guy.
Oh, hold on, just 1 second.
We're gonna put him up there. That handsome devil.
What's up, guys?
We threw a couple of curveballs at him. We appropriately didn't send him the link for the Zoom. Then we sent him the meeting code. Then we sent him the passcode. It was like an I Spy mission here, but you figured it out, buddy.
You have to really want to be on here to be on here.
You do. Moose, before we start, I think some of our Scratch research team found out that it's your birthday. Is that correct?
Yes, today is my birthday.
Wow, dude.
Happy birthday, Moose.
Moose, that was really very cool of you to accept this night when we decided to pick a date. I had no idea originally, so that was really cool of you. I guess you figure you're working, you might as well come on and do a little podcast spot too.
Honestly, I'm working, so I'm at Picks. I know we've been talking about trying to line up a date for a while here. So you guys mentioned that tonight was open, so why not? It's an off night. I'll be honest with you, if the Rangers were playing right now, I don't know if I necessarily could have done it.
Right.
I'm looking forward to Game 1 tomorrow night in Carolina, but I'm happy to be on with you guys, and thanks for having me on your show. Yeah, Moose,
you know how I feel about you. Certainly, we've gotten to know each other a little bit over the years. Marc Malusis, for our listeners, aside from being on his new TV gig on WPIX Channel 11, he has spent many years on SNY, WFAN, and the list kind of just goes on. But he's also a horse racing lover like I am, and I had gotten a chance to meet him at Saratoga. The first time I'd met you, I think, at Anthony Stabile's event, maybe at that Italian restaurant a couple of years ago before that. But
place right across from the track. Was it King something?
King Umberto's. Yeah, that's exactly right. But
that's exactly right.
I just want people to understand what kind of guy Marc is. I was walking around Saratoga Racetrack a few summers ago with Max, and that was at the time my 8-year-old. Now he's just turned 12, and Max was like handfuls of stuffed animals that he had stolen from a machine. And
that's Max.
I saw Marc walking in my direction, and he was with his dad, and they weren't. It was just a regular day at the track, and I stopped him like, "Hey, Marc, it's Hersh from Valley Stream from the radio, and Stabile's friend," and he stopped and spoke to me like we were best friends for 30 years, and he introduced me to his dad, and I felt like what humility for someone of your stature to have total regular guy, which I know you are a regular guy, but I was super impressed by your character, and I never really got a chance to thank you appropriately, but that was a swell memory from my kid. He got a kick out of it once I showed him some stuff about you on TV and radio, and that was a special day for us.
No, I appreciate Herschy. I appreciate you saying that. It was nice meeting your son that day, and that was pre-pandemic as well. I mean,
that's right.
Was that summer of 18 or 19? I forget what year it was. It might have been summer of 18.
I think it was 18. Yeah.
So, my dad and I. So I grew up around the track. I appreciate you saying that. Listen, I'm just a regular guy. I've been lucky and blessed. I've worked my rear end off to kind of chase my dreams and my goals. I never wanted to leave New York, so. I've been told a lot of times over the course of my career what, you're not going to be able to do. And I love proving people wrong over the years. But, I mean, listen, I go to the track. I've been going to the racetrack throughout the course of my life. I grew up. I went to my first Kentucky Derby. My dad and my Uncle Pete, we drove all night from Rockland County, through Pennsylvania, through Indiana, through all of the, through Ohio, down to Louisville, Kentucky. In 92 when I was 16 years old. My dad and I go up to Saratoga each and every year. He's my best friend, and he was the best man at my wedding. So it was a pleasure meeting you that day. I'm just like everybody else. I love what I do. I love talking sports. You guys love what you do. You love talking sports and everything like that. So I appreciate everybody that takes time to say hello and listens to whether I'm on TV or whether I'm on radio. And I appreciate everybody, because if it wasn't for, and Herschy, you're a good man, and Stabile well and everything like that. So, but if it wasn't for everyone listening to the radio station and kind of digging what I do or watching on TV, I wouldn't have the career that I do have. So I'm very appreciative of everyone that stops, yells Moose, yells Marc, says hello. I'm really appreciative of everybody.
The theme, Mike and I have over the past few weeks, we've had Evan Roberts on, we've had Steve Summers on, we've had Carlin on, and would you agree, Mike, that the common theme is the humility and the down to earth of all those guys? Maybe it's just part of what you guys do because you're sports lovers, getting to kind of live the life of a sports lover, basically.
Exactly, because we're all sports lovers, and you've all, like you said, worked your asses off. We've watched you escalate in your career. If we go from working on Mike and the Mad Dog, and then being on the radio, having the Moose and Maggie show, and now you're on Picks 5 nights a week. I mean, it's we've watched it, and you appreciate it because you've climbed the ladder.
Yeah, it goes really fast. I mean, I remember, when I got named the board op for Mike and Chris, and I think it was March of 01, and Carlin was the producer, and I got offered a job right out of college at WFAN after my internship, and I was at Syracuse at the time, and I turned it down, and that was not an on-air opportunity. It was working behind the scenes, and I worked at a small radio station in Rockland County after I graduated from Syracuse, and I worked there for 18 months. I was making like $7 or $8 an hour, working a split shift as doing news and sports, and all local in Rockland County, 500-watt radio station. I came back to WFAN, started there August of 2000, and I told then, the assistant PD, his name was Eric Spitz, who's now over at Sirius, he asked me, well, why do you want to come back? I said, well, in order to be, everyone tells you right place, right time. In order to be have the right time, you have to be in the right place. And this is the place that, I've always wanted to work at since I was growing up as a kid, which is WFAN. Live it, eat it, breathe it every single day, and was a huge fan of Chris and Mike growing up. So afforded the opportunity to go back there and then started working with Chris and Mike, and then things started to pick up steam after that.
I'm going to ask you the same question that Mike and I asked Carlin. Do you, and he had a great answer, and I'm sure you will also, but do you ever think to yourself, now that it's kind of removed and you're in a different place, just how incredible it is that you got to work for arguably maybe the most important sports radio talk show in the history of sports radio talk. So, it's just remarkable to me Continent said he pinches himself still to this day. He doesn't have any regrets about it. Just, do you ever get a chance to say, hey, that was pretty unbelievable that I was able to live through that as a 20-something-year-old person?
Yeah, you know, now that you mention Hersh, yeah, it's crazy. It's funny you mention that because you know, I was talking to my dad a couple months ago, and I you know, I've kind of deep conversations with my dad at times when I'm driving down to the city or whatever it might be, just things on my mind that, you know, I kind of like to bounce off of him, and you know, he's seen a lot over the course of his life, and he was like, Mark, do you ever sit back and like kind of, you know, understand of everything you've done in your career, everything you've seen and what you've accomplished? And I said, no, not really. You know, I'm not one that kind of sits back, and I'm always kind of on the go. And I love to work, and I don't really turn down a lot of jobs or a lot of opportunities, as people bust my chops all the time. Yeah. So I'm constantly on the go. Now that you mentioned her, yeah, I'm blessed. I mean, you know, they are the best to ever do it. Together, that show was just pure magic. It really was. They could make any topic seem interesting. They would make you care. Russo would make you care about tennis. Mike would make you care about thoroughbred racing. They had great insight of the local New York sports field. They were completely different personality-wise, but their differences in looking at sports made for a fascinating radio show that will never be recreated. And I learned so much from them. I really did. I learned a lot from Mike. I learned a lot from Chris, sitting back and having the opportunity to be their board op for 3.5 years and then being their producer for 3.5 years. Met a lot of great people, but having the understanding of really what it means to do a New York sports radio show where you can be entertaining, you are entertaining, but you know, it's more of a sports-driven show, and being able to, shape opinions, your opinions, obviously theirs on the time on the air, learning a lot of how to put a talk show together, but being impactful with your words, and not kind of the over-the-top nature that we're seeing at times with the hot takes, just kind of interesting, good conversation. And they get off they get carried away at times, all of those things that came along with it, and they did it for so long. Like they did it for 5.5 hours every day from 1 to 6:30. I mean, that's a long radio show, guys. Like, you do a show for 3 hours, you do a show for 4 hours. At the end of that show, you're mentally drained, you're exhausted, you're tired, you want to make sure you hit upon everything. They were doing 5.5 hours of radio, 1 to 6:30 every single day. Yeah, it's remarkable. I was blessed to be afforded the opportunity to be able to work with them so quickly, and going back to WFAN, learned a ton from them. But to be kind of one of the few that had the opportunity to work on that show was truly a blessing.
Now, I may be dating myself a little bit, and I'm not even sure if this is a reference that will go past Mike, who's a young buckaroo, but what kind of significance do you feel working the same job as my favorite sportscaster in history, Jerry Gerard, used to work at? What's your familiarity with Jerry Gerard from WPAX Sports Days?
I remember. I mean, they talk about the fact of number one, I remember him, and how old? Well, I turned 46 today. Hersh, how old are you?
I'll be 51 in August.
All right, so you've got a couple of years, but we're right around the same age. So, I mean, I remember Jerry Gerard. Like, I grew up, watching, Scott Clark on ABC, Len Berman on NBC, Warner Wolf on CBS, obviously Bruce Beck when he moved from MSG over to NBC. Jerry Gerard for sure, Sal Marciano.
Jerry Gerard was one of the few guys, by the way, Moose, that would actually give horse racing results. That was why my father loved him so much, because my father also was a horse racing guy like your dad, and he loved the fact that he would give the late double results, which not a lot of guys would do.
No, and I don't think I'm going to be able to do that here. But
come on,
because I don't think I could do. If you had the Quinella in the 9th race today at Belmont, I don't think I could.
Mark's like hint.
Yeah. I mean, like I mentioned, I'm still doing stuff at the Fan, but now to be afforded this opportunity at Picks, where they're really heavily investing in the sports department, and now to step into a role where I'm anchoring on TV in New York 5 nights a week. I mean, it's just awesome. Like
surreal.
it's just,
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it's an incredible opportunity. It really is. And, I get to get into, people's homes watching the late local news, and everyone's, flipping on the local news at some point in time, and to be delivering sports and doing a little bit differently. I'm doing, every single night during our nightly news at 6:30. I'm doing an opinion piece that they call Moose on the Loose, which is great, on New York sports. So it's really awesome. There's not many of these jobs. You think about it, 2, 4, 5, 7, 9/11. There's not many of these opportunities to be an anchor here in New York, and luckily through relationships, I was able to put my name in the ring for this opportunity, and I was able to get it. So I'm really excited to be here.
So, and certainly, I mean, with your free time between your wife, you have 3 kids, you have FAN on the weekend sometimes, you have SNY spots. You don't seem like you have a lot of free time, but you manage to do it with a smile at all times. You seem like you enjoy every minute of what you do. I see that you post pics and videos of your boys, and you just seem like you're a guy who just appreciates life and in every single facet, and there's not a lot that pisses you off.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when Joey Gallo makes an error in left field,
please don't start.
Yeah, I get ticked off. I get angry when the Rangers look lifeless in games 3 and 4 in Pittsburgh, specifically game 4. I get a little ticked off. Listen, I enjoy. My kids are great. Jackson, Paul, and Gregory. They're 9, 7, and 5. They'll drive me crazy. They drive my wife crazy. My wife Donna is really the anchor to our family. She handles everything when it comes to their schedules, and they have busy schedules with sports. Gregory plays soccer. They all play hockey. Jackson and Paul play flag football. So they're all over the place, and she does an unbelievable job. And she allows me to kind of focus in on what I need to do. Not that I'm an absentee father, because when I'm home, I like to have quality time with them as much as I possibly can. And it's great that they've kind of bought into watching sports with me, which is awesome. And if they didn't, they didn't. But they're looking forward to Game 1 tomorrow night between Carolina and the Rangers. They were fired up for Game 7 Sunday night at the Garden. So all of those things, I try and enjoy it. It goes really quick. Like we're walking down a little bit of memory lane. Like, I can't believe, like, I interned at WFAN the summer of '98. I started there August of 2000. We're going now 22 years later. And I go from 24 to 46 in basically the snap of a finger. And it goes by really, really fast. I mean, Hershey, you're 51. It clicks by, and it seems to go faster and faster the older you get. So I try and enjoy it as much as I can. I can't tell you, I'm not telling you that every single day, like, I'm skipping through the street and everything is great, but more often than not, I try and have that approach.
I picked up my oldest daughter from her freshman year of college up at Binghamton on Saturday, and I was driving up there on a Saturday morning, and I'm looking next to me, and I'm seeing other dads doing the same thing, like people you can tell that are going to pick up their kids in college. And I'm like, wait, I was just up in Binghamton partying. Like,
yeah, right, exactly.
Now, how did this happen? Like, I'm, packing up the wagon and bringing the kid home, So it does go quickly. But, I just love your attitude. I just love how genuine and humble of a guy you are. And we're not going to keep you much longer, obviously, because you got to go on the air. Do me a favor. I want to hear, I know my feeling about Rich Strike, the winner of the Kentucky Derby. I've mentioned this to Beal also. After the race, when that horse was attempting to eat the outrider as well as the pony, I had my ears up a little bit that there was something that didn't feel right, that a $30,000 claimer that Calumet dropped into the second race for this horse, I had some suspicions that something was amiss.
He's all hopped up.
Do you feel, what's your opinion on that colt, and am I being typically Marc Hirschman dramatic?
Yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of people looked at it because it was just stunning. Like, if you asked me to handicap that race 10 more times. And I had Zandon in the race, and obviously Epicenter, we everyone knew was the most likely winner of the race, but I really thought Zandon was going to win it. And when they turned for home, I thought he was. If you asked me to handicap that race 10 times, 20 times, I still wouldn't have picked Rich Strike. I don't know how he wins the race. I really don't. I know they were walking home. They went the final half mile Epicenter did in 53 seconds. So, I mean, they were crawling down the stretch. And I give the horse all the credit in the world, but it stinks for thoroughbred racing. I mean, that he's not running Saturday at Pimlico. Now, obviously, you got to do right by the horse. So he just won the Kentucky Derby. So if the owner and the trainer, which they came out and made a statement that their goal is the Belmont Stakes, that they just don't feel comfortable running the horse at Pimlico, I mean, that's great. But how many opportunities do you have to win a Triple Crown?
Yeah.
I mean, how many opportunities do you have and you see a lot of horsemen like Baffert and others that tell you that after you win the Derby, the easiest next race is the Preakness. The hardest is 3 weeks after that to have the horse ready to fire once again in the Belmont Stakes. I'm not telling you that he would have fired him at Pimlico. He might have run up the track and ran to his 80-1 odds that everyone expected to on Derby Day. But Herschy, I think you have every right to kind of feel and look at that. I got a number of calls on WFAN after that saying what was wrong with the horse, why was he trying to bite the outrider and he actually did. And took a chunk out of the horse and bit the outrider's thigh. So
it just made no sense that this is a horse that, for the non-horse people, essentially the owners and the breeders of the horse originally ran the horse once, and then after one terrible race, they dropped the horse in to a $30,000 claiming race, which means that anyone can just put in $30,000 and purchase the horse. So Calumet, who is one of the biggest names in horse racing breeding in history, doesn't usually just drop horses that are super valuable. Let's put it that way. Yeah. So I'm just a skeptic. I obviously used to own horses, was in the game for a long time. The fact that this horse came back after several nondescript races in a row to run a race like that, I have my questions about it, but we'll talk more about it offline one day, Let
me ask you this, Hirsch. But he passed all his post-race drug tests, right?
Correct.
I mean, everyone in the Oaks, everyone that ran in the Derby, there was nothing that was not on the level that day. Now, and Hirsch, you know this better than anybody. I mean, you've been in the game for a long time and know it a lot better than me. Unfortunately, when you look at the amount of drug use that has overtaken thoroughbred racing and all the negative stories that you've seen, and big-time barns and big-time trainers, taken down over the last 2 or 3 years, and really well-known, very successful trainers. I like to think that they won it clean. I still don't understand how the horse won the race.
Yeah,
I mean, look at the past performances. I have no idea how that horse wins the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah. I've passed quite a few drug tests that I probably shouldn't
That's
have.
True also. And Mike gallops out in 12 seconds. So, here's what I'm going to say, Moose. We'll close at this. I don't think that horse racing could have afforded another negative test from a Derby. And we'll leave it like that because, the truth is there was not going to be an announcement last week that this horse tested dirty, no matter what happened.
Do you think it was a scenario where then are you playing the ultimate conspiracy theory where they told him to pull yourself out of the Preakness?
I'm saying that I don't know the answer. I'm saying that there's too many question marks, and this sport has been smeared for too much for the past year or two. The most prominent trainer in horse racing, Bob Baffert, is now being suspended from one track after another, which is a killer to the sport. So I'm not saying I know what happened. What I'm saying is, where there's smoke, there's fire, and I have my suspicions. And we'll leave it at that. I think that the Herschy and Keegs show is going to make a little visit up to the Saratoga Spa this summer. We'd love to hook up with you if you're going to be there with your pop.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Okay.
You got my contact info.
Yeah.
Let me know. I mean, anytime you need me, guys, I'd love to pop on.
Oh, Moose, appreciate it.
So let me know. By the way, who do you like Saturday in the Preakness while we're talking horses?
I honestly, I haven't even. I've been so disgruntled by the whole thing. I haven't even handicapped it yet. I'll be honest with you. The horse, I wanted Mo Donegal to be in the Preakness. The fact that he's not is another head scratcher because he was charging hard at the end of that race. So just a couple of things about it that had been pissing me off a little bit, honestly. But I'll let you know on Friday. I'll shoot you a text and I'll let you know what I'm thinking at that point.
Yeah, let me know who you like on Friday.
Okay, brother.
I don't know if anyone's beating Epicenter on Saturday, but we'll see.
I doubt it, but I don't want to keep you. It's 9:38, and the news is calling. Mike and I and Silly Sally are very appreciative that you came on. I love seeing you, and we'll definitely talk offline.
Thanks, Moose, and enjoy the Yankees and the Rangers right now. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, let's go Rangers. Rangers tomorrow night, guys. Always a pleasure. Good luck with everything, and whenever you need me, let me know. All right. Have a
Thanks,
good rest
brother. Appreciate it. Talk to you guys soon.
Moose.
Take care.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Bye. It's like another home run. Like every
Another
time
home
we
run.
get
These are
these
great
guys, we just
That-
they're
that's
just
why
phenomenal.
WFAN is WFAN.
Yeah.
They breed great guys and talented
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah,
and you know what?
phenomenal.
Like Moose was kind of saying, I think all of these guys they started out basically interning with Mike and Chris.
Yep.
And they learned so much from them.
Yep.
It was the greatest sports talk radio show on the planet. These guys worked for them every day.
Yeah.
And that's why the guys that are coming off working for them are just phenomenal. They're good guys
Just-
that work from the bottom up.
Yeah.
And that's why they're humble, but they're great at what they do.
Terrific guy. I mean, that was kind of. I mean, I knew going into tonight that was going to be a slam dunk, and he was going to be a terrific guy.
Yeah.
But we were running into like he goes on the air at 10, and so I cut him there. But that gives us a chance for some Mark and Mike and
Marky
Silly
Mikey
Sally
time,
time.
yeah.
So I've been meaning to ask you, but I haven't because I wanted to talk about it on the air. I heard there was a pretty good heckle session for
man.
you on stage the other day.
Friday night was wild. You know what it was? It was.
Where were you?
I was at McGuire's out in Bohemia.
So McGuire's is a sister club of Governors,
Yep.
okay, out in
And
Bohemia.
The late shows are always crazy. They're always great shows, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But the late shows, everyone, especially Friday nights, everybody's working all day, and then they go have some drinks. Everybody,
10:30 at night, start a show?
10:30 at night is the late show.
Libations, people.
Libations.
Okay.
And just a phenomenal crowd is always there.
Okay.
There's always one guy, though, that had a little too much. Mm-hmm. So, right from the get-go, he starts heckling. Carla was hosting. And right from the get-go, and Carla laid the smackdown. She goes, listen, I'm going to go back and forth with you, but I'm hosting. You talk to me. You don't talk to any other comedians. You talk to me.
Right.
She's very intimidating.
I didn't know.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
So she handled them very well, but the guy keeps drinking throughout the show, heckling every comedian. Security is phenomenal at these clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. So
Yeah.
why didn't they?
He
just
did. He
kick him
He
out?
shushed the guy, but you know what? Sometimes if you really jostle the guy too much, he'll get physical. And this guy, he wasn't mean heckling. He was just one of those guys that thinks he's adding to the show.
And-
There's no reason to get physical and kick him out.
And one thing I notice about these clubs is that they really try to placate these people before rather than making it erupt. Their guys try to kind of like calm it down a little bit first.
That's what it is too, and that's what you got to appreciate about these clubs is that these are customers also, you
Right.
know. And you've had too much to drink at times. I'm sure I have, maybe once or twice
Today,
a day.
Yeah.
You get it. These are the customers. They're paying. They come back and support the clubs.
Right.
And the guy wasn't being mean. He wasn't a nasty asshole. He was just had a little too much drink,
Okay.
having a little too much fun, getting a little too patriotic, if you will. I don't
Okay.
know. So, so the security handled it great. Shush the guy. He'd be quiet for a little while. Shush him again. Just remind them. Shut the fuck up. So I'm going up last. I'm last on the show, and Tim Saliani was up right before me. Tim was going back and forth with the guy. They were they were fun. So I'm like, as much as like Tim was getting a lot of laughs going back and forth with the guy and doing a great job, I'm like, now the guy's gonna think he can do the same shit with me.
Right.
And I don't handle hecklers. I don't have wit. I'm not witty with them.
Right.
I'm not good with banter with them.
We know.
I just I just get angry right off the bat.
Right, you wanna
I guess
smash
I
their
just
face
wonder,
in.
like when did it start that someone thinks that they're so funny they can talk to the person on stage?
Always, because whenever
Like, how does that
whenever
happen?
somebody does it,
It's a
they
boozy thing.
always come after you after the show and say, I wasn't trying to bother you. I was just trying to help you out. All right.
Oh,
You know,
is that
they
it?
that's what they think.
Yeah.
They think they're helping. They think they're adding to the show. They think that they can get up there and get last because they're the funniest guy at their firm during the day. You know,
Right.
So this guy, he was pretty intimidating looking guy too. He was a
Yeah.
biker with a mustache. He actually, Carla at the beginning of the show goes, "What's your name?" He goes, "Mustache."
Mustache.
I'm like, oh, this guy's gonna be something. And so So now it's my turn. I go up, and right away he says something, and I did like what a teacher does. I did this and said, "I'll wait." I'm like, what the fuck am I doing right now?
My God. You sassed him?
I sassed a biker and said, I'll wait. Like, he's going to fucking wait for me.
Like a 42-year-old white woman substitute teacher?
I'm in front of 80 people right now, like a substitute teacher.
Oh, my God.
You didn't make them do. What do they do now? They go.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And then the whole class has
God.
to do that. You should have done that.
But I'll tell you one thing. What this guy did impressed me very, very much.
Yeah.
So security came over to him probably twice while I was up there.
Okay.
Shut up, be quiet. And, you know, the security guy there was basically asking me, should I kick the guy out? I'm like, no, don't kick the guy out. His friends are here. You know, they're all
You're
paying
so
money.
nice. I bet, yes, get him out of here.
Yeah, because I'm looking out for the club, too. I'm like, the guys with, like, 6 people.
Right.
Can't kick all 6 people out. They're not going to pay their check.
Right.
You know, so...
It's a whole mess.
And the guy's not, you know, he's not being violent. So, they're like, no. So, now the guy gets it. I can't heckle him. So what he did was, and I heard him from the stage, he went to somebody from the table across, thinking he's whispering, hey, tell him that this, blah, blah, blah. I don't know exactly what he said, but
you're kidding.
so he's trying to vicariously heckle me through somebody else, which was, I called it out. I said, are you trying to heckle me through that guy? Like, he thinks he's whispering the guy, first of all.
Tell him I like going on the couch with my friends, too.
Exactly. And I'm like, you know what, sir? I can't get mad at that. I'd never seen that. I think you found the loophole. You heckled me vicariously through another person.
A circumvention heckler?
Well, that was witty.
It was very witty, and then I get off the stage, and the guy gives me like a standing ovation, and he shakes my hand. I'm like, ugh, you know. So.
Jeez Louise.
But it was interesting. It was the first time I've ever seen somebody heckle a comedian through another audience member.
I
It's
heard
pretty
that
crazy.
you handled it well.
I
heard through the grapevine that you handled it well, and I was proud of you.
Thank you very much.
So, and I'm always proud of you, but that was an extra proud moment.
Thank you very much. My first reaction, though, was just no wit. I just said, shut the fuck up. I'm not dealing with you my whole set. I'm like, and now, like, I make everyone uneasy, and I'm doing this thing. Like, I'll wait, you know. So.
I'll wait, mister.
Yeah, exactly.
Mr. Mustache Man. I'll wait right here.
So, yeah. But it ended up being a great show. Everyone did well.
You're just hurting everybody else's opportunity.
Exactly. And I'm not mad. I'm disappointed.
So was he heckling, like, were you able to get your material out, or like?
I was, because he wasn't loud enough where I couldn't talk over him. Like I still am a loud mouth with a microphone.
Okay.
You know? And by the end of the show, everyone was kind of tuning him out anyway. And all the rest of the audience, they were just used to him. So he wasn't bringing anything new to the stage. So
wow. Well, I was proud of you.
Thank you.
I will. What did I do anything that made you proud this weekend?
You certainly did. You visited my favorite pizzeria in the country, right?
So
because whenever you go to Binghamton,
that's right.
Where your daughter goes, Binghamton.
I go Binghamton. I go to Pizza.
What happened there? There is a pizzeria called Pizza Fizza.
Yes, that's correct.
Which has become Facebook famous because of you.
Let's
give the audience a little background on Pizza Fizza.
For all you guys that don't know about Pizza Fizza, I stumbled upon this place. My oldest child's going to Binghamton, and I was, on the way home one day by myself, and I stopped in Liberty, New York, which is right near Monticello, and there was basically an arrow on the exit pointing left to like Taco Bell, Burger King, Arby's, yada yada, and to the right there was like this decrepit, pathetic, broken down shopping center.
Tumbleweed blows by,
and it had exactly. It had 6 closed stores. It had a pizza place and the largest beer distributor that I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go there instead. And so I went into this place, and it was called Pizza Fizza. And
how do you spell pizza?
Rhymes with pizza. Just pizza and pizza rhyme perfectly together.
Duh.
And so
I didn't know if it was like a PH or something.
and I don't want to, I won't tell
FEETSA.
That's what I thought at first too. It was like feet. Like
I
don't want pizza and feet.
Yeah. So I wound up talking to the owners, and turns out that they were Polish. So it was like a Polish pizza place, and I wound up having a Polish sausage slice, and we made some perverted jokes back and forth together. And
what is Polish pizza?
It was like kielbasi pizza almost, like Polish sausage and onions and yada yada. It was
that can't be bad.
It was delicious, and I went so far as on the way home to call the place to tell them that I was so appreciative motive of having good pizza in a weird place other than the city, and I told him that I wanted to help them advertise, and it was a whole thing. And at that point, the guy wasn't. I kind of lost him a little bit at that point, you know.
With the advertising
thing.
Maybe some reason he didn't want to get his name.
Maybe,
out there,
but who would have think that, you know? So that night I'm home. I'm outside. It's our usual Levittown, ghetto town driveway night, and it's me and Stacy and Johnny and Sue across the street, and Stabile's over, and we're smoking cigars and whatever. And I'm telling them, and they couldn't have been less interested, which, you know, not a surprise. And I'm like, no, I'm going to look up this place, and I'm going to look up the menu, and I wound up doing a search, and the next thing that pops up was owner of Pizza Fizza in Liberty, New York, arrested on child pornography charges.
No way.
Yeah, and his picture was there, and
old pictures of Mike.
It was like, so honestly,
Google was like, "Did you mean Mike Keegan?"
Yeah, exactly. So the guy's name is Przemysław, actually, but so I will tell you, and this just shows you. It shows you that I really do live for adulation and attention, because I have formed a friendship with this guy to the point where I've been there so many times that when I go in there, hey, you're coming from Binghamton, you guys on Long Island.
Hey, black ass, like he's got nicknames for you.
He doesn't know my name, but he knows who I am. Like when I walk in there, and I don't see him. I see him every maybe month, 2 months, whatever.
Hey, Jew face, like something like
hey, Jew bag, you want the Polish pizza? But it just shows you, and I know I have some mental issues, but like that whole drive up there, I'm thinking like, is he gonna be there? Is he gonna be in? Is the store gonna be closed? Yep. Is it gonna be all shackled up? Is he in jail?
Because he's obviously in hiding because he's in Liberty, New York. Like he was originally like a New York City.
He owned a very bustling place in Queens, and
so I gotta get out of here and go to fucking the middle of nowhere.
I've done a lot of investigation on this, so I know a lot about it. And
so when you're telling him you need to advertise more, he's like, whoa there, buddy.
On the phone call, what happened was I said, what I want you to do is a big orange sign that says formerly of Queens, New York, and I figured like these people up there wouldn't know that. It's real, legit New York pizza, and it is. It's legit. It's good. It's definitely tasty pizza.
Put your name on the sign so everybody can Google you and know that you're legitimate.
He wanted none of it. He wanted none of it, and but it's definitely a sickness that like leading up to the days of the trip, I'm thinking about not just the pizza. Yes, I am thinking about the pizza, but not just it. Am I going to get a greeting from him? Is he going to remember me? Is he going to be there? And it's not really a normal thing that I'm concerned about this guy. And I don't want him to be in jail. No, I don't want the store to close.
Now, like you like the guy.
No, I like him. No, he's.
You're 2 visits away from him being like, "Hey, Mark, come in the kitchen. I got to show you something."
The crazy thing is that when I get there and he knows that I want the Polish pizza. And he goes, what do you want to eat though? He goes in the back even if he doesn't have it ready, and he automatically makes me a slice.
Jesus Christ.
And basically what it is, it's like a Polish sausage and onions and peppers on a slice. And it's just not the typical pizza slice that you get.
Yeah, you get chicken on pizza, you get other things, but like I've never seen that, but it's a good idea.
So we chat. I talk about he had like a new little nice table set up in front of the store, and he's telling me that he's been getting some people through that. There's a solid 10 or 15 minutes, and the funny thing is none of my kids will eat it. They know the story. So we get there the other day, and on the way back from Binghamton, Samantha's like...
And you've brought your kids in there, even little Max?
Oh, Max and Anna won't go in.
Yeah, okay.
Max and I won't go in. They won't go in. Yeah. But Samantha was like, I have to go to the bathroom, and I'm not going into that goddamn place.
And there's a camera in that fucking bathroom.
I'm like, Samantha, we're making time. Yeah. Okay? I'm going to get a couple of slabs of pizza and put it in a box. And it turns out that his bathroom is lovely, by the way.
I'm sure it is.
It's a lovely bathroom. And I have checked for cameras, by the way. There's nothing in there. But she comes out of the bathroom, and he's like, hey, your daughter want a couple of slices? I'm like, no, she doesn't eat pizza.
Your daughter, you want the Polish sausage yet?
The funny thing was, she asked him, and Samantha doesn't have any. She'll be like, she'll like, fuck off. She'll be like, I don't want a pizza. Thanks, buddy. Like, she'll walk right past. And
no thank you, kid toucher.
So she didn't have the pizza, but I had a couple of good chocolate slabs, and I'll miss him. But he says I'll see you in August. Like he knows that I'm going back there in August, and I'm just I'm gonna miss him. But so I hope that was something that made you proud this weekend.
It definitely made me proud, and I think I'm gonna go with you in August.
You can go with me.
Max is gonna be like, Dad, why is your friend from the radio
Yeah.
coming with us to pick up Samantha?
No. You can come. You can definitely come.
So I got to meet this guy.
I want to tell you another little funny thing that happened. So we get a lot of Amazon deliveries at my home. Let's say that.
Sure.
I think we've become. It's just easy to order from Amazon. No one likes to go shopping anymore. Mm-hmm. So like Stacy will order like 13 bathing suits, send back 12 of them.
Yeah.
And but it just we get a lot of activity. We recognize, we know the Amazon drivers enough to talk and chit chat, whatever. But the other day it was one of those warm days, and the driver comes out of the car, comes up to the fence, and he sees that like Hazel is by the door, and she's like ramming like a barricade, like she's just like she's ramming the glass door, you know. And so he's like. He goes to hand me the package. So I go take the package from him, and I said, all right, buddy, do you want a bottle of water? He's like, oh, no, I would love that, So I go turn around, and as I'm turning around, I see Hazel do another barricade, and I'm like, you stay there, idiot. And then as I'm walking, I hear the guy say, okay. And I'm like, oh, my fucking God.
Oh, my God.
I'm like, I turn around. No. I was talking to the dog, but by this time Hazel had already gone. She was already gone already.
What dog?
So he's like, and I'm like, God, what's wrong with my life that this happens to me?
And I know it's like your neurosis. You're like,
no,
oh God, this guy's not gonna believe me. And
so I go in the house and I go to get a bottle of water. And Max is like, why do you look like you just saw a ghost? And I'm like, can you do me a favor, buddy? Can you hand him this bottle of water? The Amazon guy.
You're never gonna answer the door ever again.
He's like, I'm not handing the fucking guy a bottle of water. I'm like, Max, you are taking this bottle of water and you are going outside and you're handing it to the goddamn Amazon driver. It's good for you. And he did, and I never had to see the driver again. But
and Max hands him the water and goes, here you go, asshole.
Can I just tell you
that you go, idiot.
when I heard him say okay, my heart jumped. It definitely. I'm like, this fucking guy thinks I'm talking about him to him. So yeah, so that's what happened with that. Yeah. So that's basically what happened for me this week. What else? We're already at 10 o'clock already.
Yeah, really.
What's happening? What's coming up for Mike Keegan happening this weekend?
This weekend, I'll be away. I will be in at Mohegan Sun in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania at Wisecrackers Comedy Club.
Terrific.
So if any of our listeners are in the Pennsylvania area,
come
down to the casino, have a little fun, and then come catch a 9 o'clock show Friday and Saturday night.
So you're hosting, you're featuring, you're closing?
Featuring for Kevin Brennan.
Oh, wow.
Yes, so
wow,
we'll have some
dude.
fun. Me and old Kev.
Do you have you worked with Kevin Brennan before?
Many times. And
really?
He's a good guy. He's a good guy. He's an interesting man.
He's a very interesting guy. Does he request you? I mean, how does it wind up that
I don't know. But
he's a pretty legit guy, you know?
Yeah, he is. I mean, I've picked him up at his house and been on the road with him.
Okay.
The first time I picked him up, cool guy. I've always been a fan of his. I like him better than his brother. Unlike a lot of people, but
yeah,
I like him much better than his very famous brother.
Yeah.
But I was always a fan of his. I think he's one of the funniest people. I was actually featuring for him here a few weeks ago, Governors.
Okay.
And I brought my dad because I'm like, Dad, you're going to love this guy. He's great. And he's one of the best comedians. So
sure.
I pick him up at his house. We're going down to Pennsylvania. Guy doesn't say a word to me for 45 minutes.
No.
Yeah. So
but you've had conversation with him before.
Never. This is the first time I met him. This is years ago.
This is
several years ago.
Got you.
The guy who was producing the show goes, you mind picking up Kevin Brennan at his apartment? I go, yeah, no problem at all. I pick him up. First of all, he's like, I'll be down in 5 minutes. 35 minutes later, he gets into my car, and he just doesn't know me. So I guess he's not comfortable and just doesn't say a word to me for like 35 minutes.
Does he shake your hand, go in the front seat?
Give me a little handshake. He sits in the front seat. He's got his earbuds in.
Does he think like you're just the driver? Like, did he not know? That
I don't know.
Working?
You know what? That is pretty.
He probably
pretty
just
funny.
thought you were like the Uber driver,
Right. Or
I
just
do have a funny story about that I'll tell quickly right after this, but something like that. But he might have, but I think he must have known that I was a comic. I don't know. But so after a while, like we ended up going to a rest stop to grab a bite to eat, and he was doing a Facebook Live, and then like he had me in it with him, and then after that he started. We were talking the whole way there. So
wow,
that broke the ice. So it was like 35 minutes of no talking at all, which was
that's
weird.
horrific.
But now when I see him, we know each other, and I don't know if he requests me, but I've been working with him a lot recently. Funny guy, so you're gonna love him if you come down to Wisecrackers. A story about that, Sally. Joe DeRosa, another very good comic. Who's very good friends with Carla's ex-husband, Jay.
Big Jay Okerson.
Yep. And they're very close. So, and Carla's very close with Joe DeRosa. I think he used to live in their apartment with them for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
So, we used to go out to lunch a lot. It would be like me and Carla and Jay and his girlfriend, and Joe DeRosa would join us. So, maybe 5-6 times I've been to lunch, brunch with him, whatever. So, now I'm working with him in Pennsylvania. And again, the producer goes out. Joe DeRosa is staying with his parents. He's like 10 minutes away. You mind just picking him up? So I pick him up. He's like, "Hey, Mike, great to see you." Blah blah. Remembers me. So we get to the club, and I go up on stage, whatever. Blah blah. After I get off, the guy who runs the show, the owner of the club, he goes, "Mike, he told me not to say anything, but when you were up on stage, Joe DeRosa said, oh, I had no idea Carla's boyfriend did comedy."
That is hilarious.
So he thought I was just picking him up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Wait a second. So all the times you went out to lunch with him, he didn't know that
He had no idea I was a comedian at all. Every time I've been to lunch with him, just Carla's boyfriend.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, Carla's boyfriend who has Jay pay for his brunches every week.
That is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he goes to my buddy. He's just like, I had no idea Carla's boyfriend was a comedian.
That's
And I
so
was
cool.
Featuring for him that weekend. So.
And then was he disappointed?
He was very disappointed. Yeah.
No.
He goes. I'm still not pretty sure he's not a comedian.
Right.
Yeah.
That's terrific.
But,
okay, so you're away in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania.
So if you're in Pennsylvania, come grab some tickets for that. But
okay,
great stuff going on here at Governor's. I think it's sold out though. But Saturday, John Ziegler is filming his special here.
Right. Getting my affairs in order.
Our good friend John Ziegler. I think it's sold out, but if any tickets open up, keep an eye out.
Okay.
That's a great show. 3 great shows going on at all the clubs here. I think there was Louis C.K. is going to be here. I think on Thursday, right?
Oh, that's right, Thursday night.
Yeah.
And also, let's give a little pop to our friends Rick Rada and Jeff Bosey. Thursday night, their podcast, which was not going on for a while, is making a one-night return on Thursday. What is it called? No
Rhyme,
POA. What is? Okay, yeah.
No Rhyme, No Reason with Bosey and Rita.
Okay.
Just so happens they do it when Louis C.K.'s in town.
Yeah, that's a little surprising.
No, but check that out. Check all the shows here out on govsradio.com.
Okay.
Knock 'em Dead Comedy.
All of
Joey
them.
Petroni. Check them all out.
Yes, absolutely.
And, great shows going on at all 3 clubs this weekend. So come out to a comedy show.
Come out to the comedy show.
The patio's going to be opening up here outside soon, I think, in a week or 2.
All right, good.
So they have a patio here at Governor's Comedy Club, and it's awesome because you hang out outside. It's beautiful weather. You drink and watch some comedy.
Beautiful. Well, great show. Thank you to Marc Malusis. Thank you to Silly Sally. And again, considering the past few days that she's had, we're super appreciative that she came out tonight. Another great show, Michael. Thanks for
great show, buddy. I'm glad you forced Sally to come out.
Yeah, I pushed
Thanks a
her,
lot,
pressured her, threatened her.
I begged
guilted
10
her.
times not to have to do
Yeah,
this.
I'm like, we don't want Tony here, so you better figure this shit out. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Please, if you're listening to this on Spotify, please share it. If you're watching it on the Facebook link tomorrow, whatever the case may be, please share it. Tell all your friends about it. And we're going to be back next week. I think we've decided to go. Are we guestless next week? Did we decide
I
to go?
think we're guestless. I think we're just going to...
we're going to go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do our thing. We're going to have a few little little segments that we're gonna work on for you. It should be fun. Some good comedy next week.
Are you working on segments?
I don't know. I'm just trying to fucking make it sound interesting.
You better fucking do something, buddy. Okay. All right, kids. We love you. Thank you very much, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you.